Wait, that song's quite human. I don't know if you can hear that. But the octave is heard when we cut the string in half. That's not it. Because if that was half a string, the halves would be the same length, and therefore they would make the same tone. There we go. This is 2/3. So this is 1/3. 1/3 is half the length as 2/3. So the vibration is twice as fast. And therefore an octave. Somewhere. Now when you compare 1/2 to 2/3, you get 3 to 4. Do the math. It's amazing, right? So half of the string is 2/4 compared to 2/3 of a string. Or let's say half of a string is 3/6 and 2/3 of a string is 4/6. So you get 3 to 4. And 3 to 4 is the musical fourth. Here comes the bride. It's one of many songs that starts with a fourth. And then you get the 1/2 of a string to 1/3 of a string, right? Do the math. 1/2 is 3/6, and 1/3 is 2/6, so 2 to 3. That's the musical fifth. Twinkle, twinkle. I don't know how well you can hear any of this. I'm actually just stalling for some folks to get here before I get to it. But this is like how Pythagoras cracked the code with the monochord. So I'm really excited to have this instrument and to be able to have this kind of visual experience of number as my ears hear things that aren't, too consonant, and then things that really are. And I wonder how much of that came through this phone. All right, so let me get to the point of this thing. I was just out with the moon. This Pisces moon carrying the body of Saturn, who she recently conjoined. I watched that last night. To Taurus through Jupiter through a sextile. So moon is connecting Jupiter and Saturn in this way, who themselves are connected through contraparallel. In a way that you could experience this, like not at the same time, but that where Saturn is setting is exactly opposite to where Jupiter is rising. Saturn's currently setting in the southwest, and Jupiter's rising in the northeast. Or Saturn's rising in the southeast, and Jupiter's setting in the northwest. Right, so there's something in an opposition that happens when planets are contraparallel. But there's a connection. And the contraparallel degrees, they also, I shouldn't say degrees, let me say a contraparallel has something that smells a lot like contrantitia, and contrantitia degrees take the same amount of time to rise and also to set. So anyway, I was tripping on this connection. I was also seeing this Pisces Saturn connecting to Taurus Jupiter through the moon today on Moon Day. And I was contemplating and just visualizing and seeing Saturn so close to the tail of the sea goat. This is just our Denebelt jetty there, projecting down below to the eye of the southern fish, which is Famolo. And then seeing Jupiter. Jupiter's been hanging out between the ram and the sea monster. And so I'm feeling like sea goat and sea monster, right? And just quite aquatic. And then I came across this passage in this book I'm currently reading. Thanks to Cheryl for gifting this book to me. It's amazing. It's called... Here's the image backwards, I guess. It's called Harmonies of Heaven and Earth, Mysticism and Music From Antiquity to the Avant-Garde by Jocelyn Godwin. And it's really quite an incredible read. In the first chapter, which is called The Marvelous Effects of Music, I've already been mind blown like 7 times, and I'm literally 15 pages in, and it's sent me to go do different things like play with my monochord and explore harmonies and sing to the plants and whatnot. But anyway, I just read this, and I wanted to share with you. So let me read the passage, and then we'll trip on it. Many people have heard the recordings of the humpback whale, which have been an inspiration to composers and conservationists alike. These songs, unlike the dolphin's clicks and whistles, sound really musical to the human ear. They are long and sustained, far-ranging, wandering melodies, strangely punctuated with noises, and full of the eerie resonance of the underwater world. The humpbacked whales have been separated for untold ages into the Atlantic and Pacific groups. Yet, the songs of the two regions still have some phrases in common. But the most surprising thing is that in each ocean, all the humpbacks sing a different song each year. The same song has been found on the same date at places 750 miles apart. Okay, wait, what? So let's just first be with this. 2 whales 750 miles apart singing the same song. Now, I need to like vet this, go do some due diligence. If anyone knows anything about this, about whales singing the same song even when separated by 750 miles, and also whales changing their song every year. All right, so as I'm feeling this Pisces moon connecting Pisces Saturn and Taurus Jupiter, this is like the code of the deep and expanded embodiment, opening our senses to the imagination, but also kind of to the structures of, I've been saying the dream, but let's say the seas, right? The fluid spaces. She's saying in this book that whales separated by 750 miles have been recorded singing the same song. Now, she doesn't say simultaneously, she says in the same day, and then I have to ask, well, how far can a whale travel in a day? How far can a whale hear or experience sound, I should say, because it's different how they're working it than hearing. How far can a whale's song travel? I mean, is it perhaps the case that these 2 whales separated by 750 miles are simply hearing one another and repeating the song? Or is it this, especially when we get to this other thing, which is saying that the whales change songs every year? Okay, wait, what? When? On January 1st? On Chinese New Year's? At solstice? At equinox? Like, is there a day when every whale in the Atlantic changes their song and then they sing the same song or themes of that song for a year? I must know. All right. So let me read, because some of you just came in, this passage one more time. I'm just going to read the sentence. But the most surprising thing is that in each ocean, all the humpbacks sing a different song each year. The same song has been found on the same date at places 750 miles apart. And this again from Jocelyn Godwin's Harmonies of Heaven and Earth, Mysticism in Music, from Antiquity to the Avant-Garde. Like, I haven't even gotten to the text really. It just starts with 30 pages about the wonders of music and its effects. We measure astrology not from the surface of Earth where we measure where the planets are in the signs, not from the surface, but from the center of Earth. And this suggests that we are not actually describing our experience of the heavens, but rather we are describing our experience of Earth's experience of the heavens. Do you feel me? So, like our local experience of tides, for example, is very local. It has a lot to do with where the moon and the sun are in the houses, not only in the phases of the sun and the moon. That's a global consideration. Where they are in the houses, they're addressed to the horizons. That's a local consideration. In tides, also, there's a local consideration of like the actual shape of the ocean or mass of water near you, body of water near you. But at the center of Earth, there's still tidal forces. Like Jupiter has a measurable tidal force on you. Did you know that? Jupiter has a much greater measurable tidal force on Earth. And you might, well, I don't know. There's 8 of you here. I'm not sure where you're from. There's people listening at a time that I currently perceive to be the future. I don't know where you're from. So I'll just say, like, I bet you most of you are humans or earthlings. Right? So as Jupiter pulls on Earth, he's pulling on you. Now we measure our experience of Earth's experience. Who's more tuned into Earth's experience? You or a whale? And I'm going to go whale with that one. No offense. Love ya. I'm going to go whale with that one. Like, especially given that the whale is living in Earth's like fluid. So are we, right? Air is fluid. But there's something about like that viscosity of water of the ocean where the whales typically dwell, right? Where like energy, prana, certainly sound moves faster. So, I mean, in this passage where we're reading that whales have been recorded singing the same song in the same day, 750 miles apart from one another. I mean, there's a lot of like scientific questions that come to mind. How far can a whale travel in a day? Again, how far away can they experience sound from? How far can they project their sound, etc. But I have a feeling like this is one of the greatest evidence for astrology ever. Because if we could prove, for example, that these two whales, separated by 750 miles, singing the same song, cannot hear one another, and if it is true that whales change their song every year, what's causing them to change it? And what song are they singing? Right, so it's either some kind of time-lapse thing or they're simply singing the song of the moment. They're singing the harmony of the heavenly spheres as it resonates in the body of Earth. This is the kind of shit that blows my mind, and therefore my mind is blown rather consistently. Because I'm always reading amazing stuff. Thanks again to Cheryl, who left this book at my doorstep, who left this door at my bookstep. Super appreciated. I don't get to read enough, but when I do, I like to read crazy ass mind-bending stuff. All right, anyone who's here live right now, let's play a little Sun, Moon, Earth astrology, huh? Dawn, I see you here. Nice to see you here. We've looked at yours quite recently. So maybe we'll go another way. Is there somebody here who has yet to play that would like to just put your sun, moon, rising sign, place of birth on the screen? If not, we could roll the dice. We could roll the harmonies. Oh, I probably shouldn't leave this by the fire. And I'm also probably should turn this thing off. Okay, so an octave is 8. There's 4 in here and 5 in here. So let's go. We'll start with Cancer. We'll call that the fourth sign. It is Earth's fourth. And then let's go 8 from there. And what is the 8th of Cancer but Aquarius? And then what's 5 from Aquarius? And of course, that's a trine, and the answer is Gemini. But we also have Mo-A putting up some natal data on the screen, so let's go with that instead. Sagittarius Sun, Aries Moon, Cancer Rising. All right, so let's be with that, y'all. In New York City, what's the Sagittarius Sun mean in New York? Autumn in New York. But they're probably singing winter in New York. I mean, maybe not yet, right? We got to hold on to autumn as we can. Even if the sun is in the last degree of Sagittarius, it's not winter yet, right? Although, you know, these leaves on the tree, they're so bright and beautiful at the Scorpio time. Like some trees have a lot less than others do once we get into that Sagittarius space. And the first degree is very different than the last, yeah. But regardless, in this Northern Hemisphere experience, like in New York City, we're talking about that last season of fall where the leaves are falling from the tree and the sun is falling in the sky. And the sun is rising further and further south every day until he stops solstice and is reborn at that southern extreme called the Tropic of Capricorn. So we're certainly feeling that Sagittarian energy of taking the journey to the furthest points. The Sagittarius sun and the Capricorn sun alike rise as far south of east and set as far south of west, everywhere on this fine earth. And of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's Sagittarius and Capricorn alike that are the lowest midday suns in the sky. However, Sagittarius is like testing, going to the edge, you know, and Capricorn's like, okay, like wall, that's it, right? That's called the tropic, which in Greek comes from the Greek tropikos for turnaround. Capricorn's like, no, man, you got shit to do. You got responsibilities. You can't just journey to the great beyond. There's rules here, you know? Anyway, don't listen to that Sagittarius sun, Aries moon, this beautiful waxing trine of fire signs. Aries, the 5th of Sagittarius. Aries, who says in this 5th place of risks and passions to roll the dice, to go for it, you know. You want the greatest adventure, let's climb a mountain. Now I know, Sagittarius, Sun and Aries moon is not going to determine the houses of those luminaries, and still Aries is the 5th of Sagittarius, which can help us feel the phase, this waxing gibbous, this bubble on the moon's face after that time when she passed through the square. Yeah, that's Pisces moon reflecting Sagittarius sun to earthly eyes. But here we have that Aries moon, this waxing gibbous being growing in light and inspiring fire. And it almost also says, if you're willing to free your mind and seek and burn that Sagittarius fuel, then that Aries moon will reflect back to you the beauty of individuation and new directions. But Cancer rising, so come on home. What's rising when you rose is rising within you. And you, Cancer ascendant, Cancer rudder, are said to be steered by that Aries moon. Aries, of course, is the 10th of the Cancer map. So Cancer rising is Sagittarius sun. What time of day is it? When Cancer rises, Capricorn sets, so Sagittarius already has. We're going into the night, and a very long night at that. But there's an Aries moon beaming on high. reflecting that Sagittarius sunlight to our earthly eyes. And with Cancer on the rise and Aries in the 10th, so much of your own path will be found by the way that you give your gifts to the others of this world. There'll be that energy of protection, of helping others feel safe, for this is the longing of your soul. So journeying far away, but then coming back home and probably inventing and inspiring a new description of what home even means. One more from Celebrity Dance One. What a wonderful name. Virgo Sun, Libra Rising, Leo Moon. Let's just put them all together, right? In San Jose, California. Virgo Sun, Libra Rising. In this case, in this Northern Hemisphere place that doesn't get as cold as New York, we're at the end of summer anyway. Maybe we're looking forward to things cooling off a bit. Moon rose, then the sun, and that was just a little while ago. Moon in the 11th, sun in the 12th, this place they call hidden things. How strange, because that's exactly where sun first became visible this morning, not so long ago. Oh, I see, for I watched the beautiful waning crescent horns of that moon before sunrise and looked at her dancing through those stars so close to the beehive cluster, that fuzzy thing that caught my eye. I looked at stars from east to west high above. They helped me tell the time. But the birds sang, and the big star rose, and when he did to illuminate this earth, he hid the heavens from my view. By day there can be only one, that one we call sun. So when sun rises into the 12th, to become visible to us, he hides the heavens, you see. Libra on the rise, so let's learn balance. How to balance a Leo moon reflecting Virgo light to my eyes. There's something so playful about the sacred. How can I be a hermit, hidden, and quite social and radiant at the same time? Balance that, and you will have achieved the goal. Or so says one astrologer who's currently tripping on a whale song. Thanks for spending some time, friends. See you in space.